What is the biggest perception shift between going from Dungeons and Dragons to Vampire the Masquerade?
Matt goes on to describe this perception shift as being D&D is a game of no or low consequences where the heroes go on this long journey of continuous successes with momentary interruptions on their quest to basically become demigods. Whereas Vampire the Masquerade is entirely focused on the care, the anxiety around and the acknowledgement of the consequences for your actions. Whenever you interact with the world will push back and dealing with those consequences. Now, I largely agree with this, but I also want to note a small caveat. I think that you absolutely can play D&D with high consequences, with that sort of like world state pushback. You can play D&D like you play Vampire the Masquerade in terms of a narrative story. However, you are doing all of the lifting to do that. And I think this is a core critique that Matt is getting at here. It's not that you can't play the stories that way in D&D. It's that the system is not giving you the tools to do that. Or I'll say it rarely gives you the tools. There are some enemies that like revenants, like you kill the tavern keeper in the first session and then he comes back as a revenant to kill you later. Like that could maybe be consequences, but the DM has to decide that that consequence is going to happen. The consequences are entirely at the hands of the people at the table deciding to make those consequences. Whereas Vampire the Masquerade, in its mechanics, gives you consequences all of the time. You are constantly being pushed and encouraged to show the ramifications of what you do and to deal with those ramifications. And that kind of system-level support, having the story you want to tell baked into the mechanics that are used to tell it, that's why it's so critical for people to understand different kinds of systems and to be able to explore different kinds of tabletop role-playing games so that you can bring things like what Vampire the Masquerade brings to the table into a realm like D&D. So maybe you don't want to tell these sort of like gritty vampiric politics that Vampire the Masquerade focuses on. You want something that's more heroic fantasy, but you do want consequences to matter. Learning over here will vastly improve your gameplay and storytelling over here.